What's up, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another Overwatch Odyssey League matchup. Tonight, we have got the Gum Guzzlerz coming up against HU Esports. Tonight, joining me to commentate tonight's match, we have got Cove. What's up, Cove?
It's going. How are you, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm swell. I'm swell. Excited to see what we're going to see here in this matchup tonight. You know, the Gum Guzzlerz, pretty solid team, but they did have several weeks off after Thanksgiving break, and then they had some bye weeks with some scheduling that we had to work out there. But HU Esports have been playing. They did come off of a tough loss against J Dynasty, so I'm excited to see how they're going to bounce back from that. Tonight, we are starting off the match with Control at Nepal. So let's see what happens here in this first game. Anything in particular here, Cove, that you're looking forward to in tonight's matchup?
No, I think in a lot of the matchups that we've seen up to this point, a lot of teams, or it seems like one team gets off to a slow start and, falls behind 2-0 or something. I'm curious to see if it'll maybe a more balanced attack coming out here. Both teams can shake off a little bit of the cobwebs and get ready to go.
Sure. Now, overall, we have got Gum Guzzlerz. Their SR average is a little bit higher than that of HU Esports, but we have also, so HU is obviously a collegiate team, and we have seen that kind of synergy, the word you like to use a lot, that chemistry there with that team. Meanwhile, Gum Guzzlerz might not have that as much, so we'll see what happens here.
4, 3, 2, 1. Round 1. Capture the objective.
See, immediately Squarelove is getting into the action, but getting demeched. Rat going down as well. Looking for the support here. And Squarelove going down as well. You see Summer Bubble. Basic back here. And HU is going to have to come back here. Mark running the Wrecking Ball here. Able to get Doxic down. You do see that HU is having to regroup before attacking again. Mark going in there to get some pressure on HU Esports. Looks like HU is starting to decide whether or not they want to attack. Meanwhile, you see Rat is on point. Getting some solid damage there on Bread. Coming out with the fade. Pylon is on point but goes down. You see Rat is going to go ahead and get nanoed here. Basic getting Bread, Rat getting Connor down, Squarelove getting Bored Dad, Mark going down to Rat as well, and HU are able to get the point. Solid push coming from HU there.
Yeah, Andrew, I think Gum Guzzlerz really came out strong with a push of their own, and another good response here by HU Esports. Really like Rat, playing Reaper a little bit differently, rather than going after the team, going after the point and getting some motivation and some momentum for their team.
Certainly. Mark is going to go ahead and use ult. Connor also using ult. Connor able to get 2 down, 1 with ult, 1 without. Bread able to get Doxic here. It is now Rat and Squarelove getting pushed. Rat does go down. Mark able to chase Rat down with the mobility that Wrecking Ball has here. Squarelove really pushing against Connor here. And now Mark is pushing in the back line. Brody taking quite a bit of damage here. And you see Gum Guzzlerz are going to go ahead and regroup there on point, making sure Rat isn't going to come from an offside, I guess, in order to get to the point. And Diva Bomb is going in, but Brett is going to go ahead and use Dragon Blade here. able to get basic down. Squirrel's going to have to touch point, but with Coalescence, you see Rat is now using alt. Unfortunately, unable to get anything here. And unfortunately, HU is not going to be able to contest in this first round of the first game.
Yeah, and a really good stand there by Gum Guzzlerz to finish off that first point.
1-0.
I liked to see pushing from the off angles coming from HU Esports, but Gum Guzzlerz ultimately able to stand their ground to prevent any further pushes. After that first time when Rat was able to get the pressure off of that main choke on the side and bring in the rest of the HU Esports team, you did see, and I think I pointed it out, where Gum Guzzlerz grouped up on the point there to just prevent any stragglers from getting back there doing that again.
Yeah, I think they did a good job covering all the paths into that point. Again, like I said earlier, the team that seems to come out fast early wins a lot of these points, especially if you can get 40-50% of that point on the first push. It's tough to overcome that.
Definitely. I would think to myself that pace is a lot of this, but also getting the picks where they're needed. Like you see, I mean, almost immediately, Connor is able to get a solid headshot there on Doxic. Mark able to hook basic off the map, unfortunately. You just see some very good things from Gum Guzzlerz here. You see Bread pushing here from the back line. Rat does go down to a deflection there. And Brody is able to get basic. You see Squirrelove trying to use the defense matrix there, but unable to stop Moira. You see Kitsune Rush being used here. And 3 picks for Gum Guzzlerz. 4 picks, 5 picks, and that is a team kill. Effective use there of the Kitsune Rush from Board Dad.
Absolutely, Andrew. You love to see, ults coming in is exciting, but when they can clear out an entire team like that, that's, well utilized there by the team. Love that play from them. And again, up to 75, almost 75% now on that point. It's going to be really tough for the HU Esports team to overcome this deficit.
Not only are they going to have to capture point in order to prevent Gum Guzzlerz from finalizing this round and the game, but they're going to have to maintain that. You see ult coming in from Connor and solid sleep coming from Doxic in order to prevent Bread from really maximizing the ult there. Ult coming from Squarelove. Not able to get anything, but able to stay alive. Bread does get basic. Bread gets Rat. Connor able to get Summer Bubble there. They do get point. And Squarelove without the thrusters falling off the map. An unfortunate error coming from HU Esports. And that is going to be it for the second round and the first game. Gum Guzzlerz coming away with the first game.
Play of the game.
Alrighty, we will be right back as we prepare for the second game. Alrighty, we are back for the next matchup. We have got an escort at Route 66. So if you were tuned in for the first game here, Gum Guzzlerz were able to get a rather resounding victory against HU Esports in that first game, capturing the objective twice on that control matchup. Now, we did see some pretty good pushes coming from HU Esports, but ultimately we're going to have to see a lot more of that if they want to continue to compete in this matchup here. Mark was playing a very solid wrecking ball, really wreaking havoc in the backline there. Connor doing a good job there as Hanzo getting some solid picks. And you do see here that Connor is going to go ahead and play Widow now. So excited to see how that transitions into this next matchup here.
Yeah, Andrew, I think it'll be good to see. I'm not down on HU Esports team at all. I think they showed some really good things, and we get different game mode will really change things up, I think. One thing I have noticed, and I'll use Rat as an example since we're watching her. I'll use Jakey Wakey from the Respawn Rangers as another example. When you're playing a character like Sombra or Reaper in their case, it seems like early on we had a lot of success with those characters, but as people learn that that's what you're going to do, they lose some of their effectiveness. You really have to switch that up.
Yeah, sure. And you do see also the Gum Guzzlerz are making a little bit of a switch up here. So players are allowed to switch roles in between games within a match. So you see Mark is now playing DPS here, while Bored Dad is now playing tank. And Connor, again, able to get the first pick of the game, taking down Doxic there. Basic looking really low. And almost immediately the pylon goes down, requiring Summer Bubble to utilize all of healing, but unfortunately Connor able to get another solid pick. Connor really causing the support to choose their positioning wisely. Mark able to get in the back line there a little bit and get Basic down. You see Rat now contesting against Bored Dad, who is on Diva.
Yeah, I think Connor obviously getting the two early picks here on both the support characters. When you can do that right out of the gates, puts a ton of pressure on the other team, and we can see that right now. HU Esports is struggling to get out of spawn.
You know, I was really excited to see Connor play Widow, but ultimately switching back to Hanzo there last second I think was a pretty solid choice, doing a pretty good job here. And Connor able to get Rat. Square Love able to get Mark down. Square Love now pushing Connor here. Almost able to get Connor off the map, but instead Brett is able to get Square Love off the map as Square Love had used thrusters to try and push Connor back.
Yeah, I think great push by the HU Esports team there with Square Love, but you got to know where that Lucio is when you're on a map like this. Never know when they're going to bounce you off the map.
Basic is able to get Bored Dad down. Connor able to get another pick on Doxic. They're really going to have to kind of acknowledge and figure out where Connor is. You see Connor kind of going off to the side and getting some picks, but Rat doing a good job, able to get Connor down, able to get Mark down. Is antied, however, and anti is gone. Rat getting up on the high ground. Square Love applying some pressure, taking quite a bit of damage. Rat needing to get out here. And an ult coming from Connor here to get HU Esports off of the payload, at least for the moment. And Connor is able to take Rat down, getting some revenge as Rat had got Connor previously. It's the ultimate coming from Bored Dad, able to get the pylon and able to get Square Love out of mech here. Square Love is able to get Brody down, Summer going down, Square Love going down, and Doxic all going down. HU has a minute left, but not that far to push yet on this first checkpoint.
Yeah, I think so far really good pushes from them. Again, I think once they found out where Connor was, and started, working a little bit better as a team than they were right out of the gates, we've seen some really good things.
Yep. Square Love using all here. Able to Square Love not able to remech there. Bored Dad now able to get Basic here. Rat going down as well. And at this point, HU, if they want to keep this round alive, they're going to really have to push that W key and get to the payload. Connor able to get another solid pick. Bread in there, getting basic. Board Dad able to get Rat, but not before the ult comes. Square Love not going to point. Hesitation maybe coming from the low amount of health that Square Love had. But ultimately, Gum Guzzlers are able to hold HU before they get to that first checkpoint here.
Yeah, Andrew, as we start switching sides here, what are some things that you've noticed up to this point and anything that stands out to you that you want to call attention to?
Yeah, I would definitely say picking their targets. I haven't seen a lot of that from HU. Also, they are playing a little bit reserved. As I mentioned, especially right toward the end, really pushing that W key. They're having to play a little bit of caution, especially with Connor getting all of those solid picks. But at some point, they really have to push in order to prevent the Gum Guzzlers from just kind of playing defense however they want to play defense. They really have to set the game to how they want to play it.
Yeah, I agree. I think every time I've hopped on the mics with you, we've talked about the fine line between playing smart and being aggressive, right? And there's a time and place to do that. I've been really impressed with how the Gum Guzzlers have managed that. I think they've been aggressive at the right times, especially at the end of that last point there. I really like to see that, and I think it's working well for them. So excited to see them keep it up.
Yeah, I mean, almost immediately after they had gotten HU down, they went right back to that choke point, regardless of where the payload was, and they maintained HU at that choke yet again, with or without the payload being there.
Agreed, and I think, again, backs to the wall, we talk about this all the time, is we've seen some really good matchups, some uneven ones. I think HU Esports is going to have to play aggressive and smart and find that fine line like the Gum Guzzlers.
Certainly. And I like the strategy a little bit here. Connor, you see, able to get basic down already. Rat getting Connor, however, Connor not able to go back. That's interesting on Connor's part, switching off that Hanzo to play into the counter of May. But Brody able to get Rat down. Summer Bubble going down. Square Love going down. And it is just Doxic there. And Doxic unable to contest any longer.
Yeah, huge push so far to start this. Really like what we see from the Gum Guzzlers so far.
You see basic there to try and contest. Bread able to push back a little bit. HU's going to have to do a lot of contesting here, but unable to do so. Square Love gets there just in time, but 1v5 does not typically go very well. Square Love able to survive here. You see Mark able to get some solid damage, some really great picks. You see basic does switch to Tracer here in order to extend the longevity here, but ultimately it is not enough, and unfortunately that was a quick game 2 for the Gum Guzzlers to come away with.
Play of the game.
All right, and we will be right back for game 3. Alrighty, and we are all ready for the third and potentially final game for this matchup tonight between the Gum Guzzlerz and the HU Esports. So far, we have seen the Gum Guzzlerz dominate this matchup so far. So what are some things that HU is going to have to do in order to come back from this deficit that they've created for themselves?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really important for them to get the initial push. We've seen Gum Guzzlerz have that every time. And get momentum from that. I think HU Esports, I'd like to see them come out with that first initial push. I'd even like to see them get the first pick. Stop Connor from doing that.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. They're really going to have to make that first push. Again, I believe they are starting on offense, so really coming out with an aggressive mentality, knowing that this could potentially be the final game in this matchup.
Yeah, I think there's been some hesitancy, some apprehension to play more aggressive up to this point, and I think they need to change some things up, so hopefully we can see that out of the gates.
Yeah, and as you can see here now from the scoreboard, so the Gum Guzzlerz able to prevent HU Esports from getting to the first checkpoint and able to do so themselves, so taking that 2-0 lead. Again, this could be potentially the final game for this matchup, so the HU Esports are really going to have to do something here in order to keep this game alive.
Hey, Andrew, and I think I'm noticing here Gum Guzzlerz going with almost an entirely new, I think it is an entirely new team comp from what we've seen so far. I think part of that is just being comfortable with the lead they've got. Let's try some new things and switch it up and see what kind of success we can have.
Yeah, and to go off of that too, being able to really maximize what your team can bring and figure out some roles that work best for them. You see Bread now playing tank, Mark now on support, Dad DPS, and Brody now playing support. So we'll see. I do like the strategy here from HU going through this top room as opposed to up that main choke there. But Bread doing a solid job of kind of holding them back there. And Brody's able to get Rat. Square Love going down to Mark as well after getting DMAXed from Connor. And Inbred able to get Doxic down. And HU is back. They are looking at that main choke there, possibly going in that smaller room down low. You see Connor preparing to flank here, really looking for HU Esports to see where they are. Meanwhile, they're already on point, so they've got to maximize this. They are able to get Brody down. Dad going down as well. You see Connor able to get Basic down. Rat going down as well. Sorry, Rat getting Connor and Mark going down as well. It is just Bread here fighting 4 of the HU Esports, but Bread is going to choose to survive here and fight another fight. And here's that final push here coming from Gum Guzzlerz, trying to prevent HU from beginning the push on the payload. You see Bread here looking really low. You see Connor's able to get Basic, Bread able to get Summer Bubble, Square Love now able to get Dad here. Alt coming. They are able to get Bread down. It's just Doxic and Rat. Now it is just Rat. Meanwhile, the rest of HU Esports are coming from spawn, but Rat does go down as well. See Connor over here putting some sprays down, really making sure the spray is to the alignment that they prefer.
60 seconds remaining.
And HU only have to get this last tick forward, in order to get the payload going. See Kitsune Rush now being used here. Bread able to get basic, Connor able to get Doxic. Dad able to get Rat. Summer Bubble going down, and it's just Square Love getting demeched. And a solid play there coming from Bread.
I've been really surprised, Andrew, to see this last tick last as long as it has. I think HU Esports made some great pushes to start, but really surprised and like what I'm seeing from Gum Guzzlerz. They've stood really firm.
Yeah. And you do see Summer Bubble does have alt. Basic also having alt here as HU is trying to make this final push. You do see that Basics can go ahead and use alt. And they are able to get the point here using both of the alts, but much needed. You see Summer Bubble going down, Basic going down. Dad really holding the high ground here. Basic able to bamboozle Connor and TP out of there. But unfortunately, Connor able to get Rat and then coming back here in order to get Doxic as they're pushing there. Now, the HU Esports are going to be spawning here from this room, so they are going to be close to the payload. So we'll see if Gum Guzzlerz are able to use that to their advantage, or if that's going to be a hindrance to them in their defense. I like the play and the positioning coming from Basic there, but immediately Bread is going to go ahead and push that and take Basic down. So although the idea was there, maybe the execution was not as developed as had hoped. And Doxic going down, Bread using all able to get Pylon. Connor able to push in and get Basic down, and using alt here.
Andrew, as I'm watching the kill feed too, a few more pickups for Bread here. I've been really impressed with their game so far. I think they've played really well.
And as you're saying that, another one for Bread there, or to get a 3K here.
Andrew, are you surprised to see the payload still in its original position even after that initial push from the HU Esports team?
A little bit, yeah. I would say I am surprised by that. But you see HU now getting some picks. Bread does go down. Doxic able to get Mark. Square Love is demeched, but they are going to continue to push. They have got, at this point, we're going to go ahead and say overtime to move the payload as far as they can. Now, I won't say that it's unheard of. I have played a couple comp games myself where we've managed to take the payload all the way from start to finish in overtime. But at the end of the day, it is a pretty hard task to accomplish.
Yeah, definitely no easy feat. I think HU Esports team, obviously here on the payload, knows what they need to do. And we've been talking about it all game. Really impressed by the stand that Gum Guzzlerz made after that initial opposition they faced.
Certainly. I would like to see what they can do here. You do see Kitsune is going to be used. Meanwhile, Dad is going to go ahead and use alt. Also, Bread using alt there, but Basics Turrets able to get Dad down there. So it's just Rat here, Doxic, and Square Love with the help of Summer Bubble's Pylon, which is... And there it goes. Pylon does go down. It was almost being ignored there. You see Connor also switching to Tracer here, which will be good to poke. But also when it comes down to crunch time, I think Tracer's a pretty solid pick. And a solid ult there coming from Summer Bubble. And Summer Bubble doing all that they could there on the payload as they were the last one standing. But unfortunately unable to get it any farther and even to that next checkpoint. So now it'll be Gum Guzzler's turn to do what they can in order to push that payload even further.
Initiating match.
I like what HU is doing when they're on offense, and I mean even when they're on defense. But something that I've kind of noticed is that it seems to be, too little, too late. They're making really good pushes. I feel like they're catching Gum Guzzlerz off guard a little bit by those pushes when they're really, pressing W. When they're really pushing into that defense and applying pressure, Gum Guzzlerz are able to adjust to that. But unfortunately, that only seems to happen like right toward the end of matches. We did see a little spurt of it in that very first control game when Rat, kind of alleviated some of that pressure by flanking. But now they really have to do it where, the team fights are all going to be in the same general area per se. So definitely going to have to see HU use that.
Yeah, it's a great point. I think, too, now that HU Esports team is playing defense like you mentioned, how do you do that and hold your ground while still making the pushes you're talking about? It's something that's really hard to do. You don't want to get too aggressive and leave that payload unattended.
Sure.
Be curious to see how they handle that.
Sure. I would certainly say, too, that the Gum Guzzlerz, I wouldn't hardly call it a mistake, as they did a great job holding HU from getting to the first checkpoint after capturing payload. But I would say of all the roster changes that they've made, this has been the most interesting one. You do see the battle of the high grounds here. Both teams now playing Symmetra, using TPs here to get to high ground. You see immediately they're going to go ahead and start capping point. At some point, HU's going to have to come off that high ground, and they do. Rat able to get Connor, but Brody able to answer back by taking Rat down. Doxic able to get marked, but again, Brett able to get Square Love down. You see Basic also going down here. And it's just Doxic and Summer Bubble contesting. Now it is just Summer Bubble. And Summer goes down.
I'm obviously the most precious.
All right, and now the Gum Guzzlers are going to start pushing the payload. And they have a little over 5 minutes to get it where HU did in overtime. So we'll see if having that time, that extra time, more so than HU had, will allow them to make some pushes that maybe HU wasn't able to do so. Missing out here on the action while Board Dad is holding down the payload. Brett able to get Rat down. Square Love looking low. Square Love is getting demech'd here. And Doxic going down as well. Square Love going down. See Rat playing up top there. And here's that aggressiveness I was talking about from Gum Guzzlers. Really pushing into HU. Pushing into their spawn here. Meanwhile, you see Board Dad is just hanging out here on point. Rat trying to get some damage there. Rat throwing in ult. Not quite able to do anything with it as much as I guess they would like to. Counter ult here coming from Board Dad. Board Dad able to get Doxic down. Inbred taking down Rat. Square Love using ult here. And we've got a double Diva Bomb. And Brett is able to capitalize on the Diva Bomb, and that is going to be it for the third and final game of this match.
Play of the game.
And the GGs were being thrown up there as the match comes to an end. I would like to say a quick thank you to all of you who are here to watch the match with us. Gum Guzzlers did come away victorious with a 3-0 victory against HU Esports. But as always, thank you also to the competitors for competing. Because obviously we couldn't have the Overwatch Odyssey League without them. But as we are trying to grow the community, I'd like to send out another just quick reminder If you were here the past couple matchups, you're going to get tired of me saying this, but we are trying to grow the community. So if you could do us a huge favor, take a peek at our Facebook page, like and follow that. Look at our Instagram. Go ahead and follow that and like our posts. Same with TikTok. We do have one of those. We're hopping on the bandwagon there. So go ahead and follow us there and watch our videos. If you find them entertaining. Meanwhile, we obviously do have a YouTube. That's what you're watching on now. So if you could go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell too, so you're notified anytime we post a video, post a short, or when we go live. We would greatly appreciate that. And then last, but of course certainly not least, we are approaching the regular season coming up here about the third week of January. With that being said, we are looking for more players and more teams. So if you or your friends are interested in playing or starting a team, feel free to reach out to us on any of our social media platforms. You should be able to find us just about anywhere by searching Overwatch Odyssey League, and we'll be there. But again, we appreciate you being here, and we appreciate the competitors. And until tomorrow, we have got another matchup featuring the Gum Guzzlerz as they go up against Vanware Odyssey. So we will see you at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Until then,